All right, so last time we were talking about stays in rhythm speak.
Right, those standalone expressions.
Yeah, and how they can deliver a whole idea in just a single movement.
Like a motion-optimized snapshot.
Exactly. And, well, you know how much we love idioms.
Always so colorful and expressive.
Yeah, and it turns out there's this amazing connection between those idioms and stays.
It's like idioms are just begging to be expressed physically.
To have that figurative power translated into movement.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today, how those idioms we use all the time can become these really efficient and clear stays.
And we've got a whole bunch of different categories to explore so we can really see how this works.
Okay, so let's start with decision-making idioms. You know those phrases we use when we're trying to figure things out or make a choice?
Okay, so like caught between a rock and a hard place. That's a classic.
Yeah, what's the feeling you get with that one?
Totally stuck, like there's no good option.
Exactly. And the stay for that is a locked stance with tension pulling in opposite directions.
Oh, wow, I can feel that tension just thinking about it.
Right. You can sense that feeling of being trapped.
And you don't even need to say the words. The movement says it all.
Right. And then there's cutting corners.
That's when you're trying to do something quickly, maybe not too careful.
Yeah, skipping some steps to save time.
And the stay is like a movement shortcut, showing that something is rushed or incomplete.
It's like the movement itself is saying, I'm not doing this properly.
It's so efficient, no need for explanation.
Right. And how about biting off more than you can chew?
Oh, I've been there.
Who hasn't, right? It's that feeling of taking on too much.
Yeah, getting overwhelmed.
And the stay is a motion of exaggerated grasping, struggling to hold too much.
Like your hands are overflowing and you can't quite keep hold of everything.
Exactly. That visual image of being overloaded.
Really powerful.
And now, for the last straw, it's that tiny thing that pushes you over the edge.
That makes everything snap.
Right. And the stay is a small, sudden gesture that tips the body over, symbolizing a breaking point.
So it's a small movement, but it has a huge impact.
Exactly. It mirrors that idea of a tiny thing causing a total breakdown.
I like that contrast.
And then we have no pain, no gain.
Ah, the classic workout motto.
Pushing through the discomfort to achieve something.
The stay for that is a sharp contraction followed by an expansion.
So you're showing that initial struggle and then the release of success.
The body really tells that story of effort and reward.
Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about communication idioms.
Okay, so how we interact with each other.
Exactly, those little phrases that capture the nuances of conversation.
So like beat around the bush.
Ah, yes. When you just can't get to the point.
You're being indirect, maybe avoiding the main topic.
And the stay is a circling movement with avoidance of a central point.
Oh, so you're literally moving around the issue, never landing on it directly.
It's like the conversation itself is taking a roundabout path.
So clear and visual.
And then there's devil's advocate.
Taking the opposite side even if you don't really believe it.
Just to spark discussion and challenge assumptions.
And the stay is a dual direction motion showing contradiction or playing both sides.
That back and forth movement that captures the debate.
Like you're weighing both perspectives.
Exactly. Now, how about giving the benefit of the doubt?
That's about trust, right?
Trusting someone even when you're not totally sure.
Like taking a leap of faith.
And the stay is a forward opening gesture representing trust despite uncertainty.
Oh, I like that it feels open and welcoming.
Like you're saying, I'm willing to believe you.
Even if there's still questions.
Okay, now speak of the devil.
Haha, yeah. When the person you were just talking about suddenly appears.
That moment of surprise.
The stay is a quick surprise motion indicating someone's sudden presence.
Like you're startled by their appearance.
It's that instinctive reaction to the unexpected.
Okay, last one in this category. Get down to brass tacks.
Getting serious, finally focusing on the details.
The stay is a strong downward strike, signaling the start of serious business.
Like you're saying, okay, enough messing around, let's get to work.
That sense of decisiveness and focus.
I love how much these movements can communicate without any words.
All right, so how about we move on to idioms that deal with life's challenges and experiences?
Okay, those phrases that we use to describe those tough moments and how we get through them.
Exactly. So think about bite the bullet.
Facing something difficult head on, even if it's unpleasant.
And the stay is a flinching movement followed by a firm resolve.
Oh, I see. So you're showing that initial hesitation and then the determination to push through.
It's that moment of steeling yourself for the challenge.
And the body really shows that inner strength.
Now, how about hitting the nail on the head?
Getting something exactly right.
Perfect accuracy.
And the stay is a precise downward strike symbolizing perfect accuracy.
That feeling of nailing it perfectly.
I can see how that sharp movement would convey that sense of precision.
Okay, now what about once in a blue moon?
Something that rarely happens.
Very infrequent.
Like almost never.
And the STAE is a slow, circular motion representing rarity in cycles.
So the slowness emphasizes how long it takes for this to happen.
And the circular motion shows that it might eventually come around again, but not for a while.
It's interesting how the movement itself can convey the passage of time.
Okay, now imagine go down in flames.
That's a pretty big failure.
A spectacular one, often very public.
Like a total crash and burn.
The STAE is a dramatic collapse with flaring arms mimicking an epic failure.
Oh, wow. I can picture that so clearly.
That visual image of complete and utter failure.
It's almost theatrical.
Okay, and lastly, burning bridges.
That's about relationships, right?
Yeah, when you damage them beyond repair.
No going back.
And the STAE is a deliberate cutting or breaking motion behind oneself,
It's like you're severing those ties completely.
leaving the past behind with no intention of returning.
It's a powerful image.
All right, let's switch gears again and talk about idioms that describe personal traits and conditions.
Okay, so those phrases that capture our personalities or our state of being,
Exactly those little quirks and characteristics that make us who we are.
so like a dime a dozen.
Something that's common and not very valuable.
Yeah, easily replaceable.
The STAE is a repeated dismissive gesture indicating overabundance.
Oh, I get it. Like you're brushing it aside as unimportant.
Exactly. There's so much of it that it loses its value.
It's almost like you're saying, meh, who cares?
Now, what about don't judge a book by its cover?
That's a good one about looking beyond appearances.
Not making assumptions based on what you see on the surface.
There's always more to the story.
And the STAE is a flipping motion revealing an unexpected meaning,
Like you're opening the book and discovering something new.
showing that there's hidden depth.
I like that.
Okay, how about fit as a fiddle?
Someone who's in great chase.
Full of energy and vitality.
The STAE is a light, energetic bounce showing peak health.
It's like you can't contain that vitality.
I can feel that energy just thinking about it.
Okay, now for he or she is off their rocker.
That's someone who's not quite right in the head.
Acting irrationally, maybe a little crazy.
The STAE is a wobbling, unstable movement expressing irrationality.
Like something's off balance.
Yeah, it definitely conveys that sense of mental instability.
Okay. And finally, like riding a bike.
Something you never forget how to do.
Once you learn it, it stays with you.
The STAE is a circular pedaling motion, smooth and automatic.
That feeling of effortless motion.
Like it's ingrained in your muscle memory.
Okay, so let's move on to food idioms.
Okay, so now we're talking about all those phrases that use food to describe other things.
Yeah, it's amazing how often we use food metaphors.
It's like piece of cake,
Something that's easy to do.
no problem at all.
And the STAE is a slicing motion followed by an easy, effortless gesture.
So simple and smooth.
No effort required.
I can picture that.
Now, how about bread and butter?
The essentials, the things you rely on.
Your main source of income or support.
The STAE is a repetitive, necessary action mimicking daily sustenance.
Something you do day in and day out to keep things going.
It's at the foundation.
Now, what about spill the beans?
Letting out a secret.
Revealing something that was hidden.
The STAE is a sudden opening motion, releasing hidden information.
Like something bursts out unexpectedly.
Oh, that's a good visual.
Now, for cool as a cucumber,
Someone who's calm and collected.
especially under pressure.
Totally unfazed.
The STAE is a slow, composed exhale with steady body posture,
That sense of inner peace and control.
no matter what's happening around them.
I like that imagery.
And finally, hard nut to crack.
A difficult problem or a tough person to understand.
A real challenge.
The STAE is a gripping motion struggling to open, showing difficulty.
It's that struggle to get through that tough exterior.
It really captures that sense of effort.
Okay, so now let's dive into the world of animal idioms.
These are always fun.
Yeah, they often tap into our understanding of animal behavior.
So like killing two birds with one stone.
Being efficient, accomplishing two things at once.
Smart thinking.
And the STAE is a single efficient action solving two tasks.
One movement, two results.
Very streamlined.
Love it.
What about the elephant in the room?
That big, obvious problem that everyone's ignoring.
The unspoken issue.
And the STAE is a heavy looming stance suggesting avoidance.
Like, you can't ignore its presence, but you don't want to address it either.
That feeling of unease.
Letting the cat out of the bag.
Oops, accidentally revealing a secret.
The stay is a startled releasing motion, revealing something hidden. Like, you didn't mean to do it, but it happened anyway.
That feeling of surprise and maybe a little bit of guilt.
Now how about hold your horses?
Slow down, be patient.
Control those impulses.
The stay is a pulling back motion controlling impulsive energy.
It's like you're reining yourself in.
That physical reminder to take a pause.
And finally, take the bull by the horns.
Facing a challenge head on.
Taking control of the situation.
The stay is a strong, direct grappling motion symbolizing control.
That feeling of grabbing hold and not letting go.
It's a powerful image of determination.
Okay, let's shift gears one last time and explore weather idioms.
Okay, so those phrases that use weather to describe emotions or situations.
Those metaphors that capture the power and unpredictability of nature.
So like weather the storm.
Enduring a difficult period.
Riding it out until it passes.
The CD is a firm resisting stance against an invisible force.
That sense of standing strong against the elements.
Not letting the storm knock you down.
I like that.
What about throw caution to the wind?
Being reckless, taking a risk.
Not worrying about the consequences.
Being on the edge.
The CD is a reckless releasing motion, fully surrendering, letting go of all control.
It's like you're embracing the chaos.
Now how about the calm before the storm?
That eerie stillness before something big happens.
The deceptive peace.
The steady is a still pause followed by a sudden burst.
That contrast between stillness and sudden movement.
It's a powerful way to show that shift in energy.
Now consider chasing rainbows.
Going after something unattainable.
A futile pursuit.
A pipe dream.
The stay is a reaching motion toward an unattainable goal. That longing for something just out of reach.
It's a little bit sad, but also hopeful.
And finally, lightning fast.
Something that happens super quickly.
In the blink of an eye.
The stay is a rapid striking movement emphasizing speed.
A sudden burst of energy.
I can feel that speed just thinking about it.
Okay, and for our final category, let's talk about body idioms.
Okay, so those phrases that use parts of the body to describe other things.
Yeah, and these really lend themselves to physical expression.
So like having your head in the clouds.
Being daydreamy, out of touch with reality.
Lost in thought.
The stay is a dreamy, unfocused upward sway. That gentle drifting motion.
I can see how that would convey that sense of detachment.
What about by the skin of your teeth?
A very narrow escape.
Barely making it.
Just avoiding disaster.
The stay is a close call motion narrowly escaping, like you just dodged a bullet.
That feeling of relief.
Now how about cost an arm and a leg?
Something super expensive.
The stay is a motion of giving away something valuable, like you're sacrificing a lot for it.
That sense of high cost.
Okay, now consider face the music.
Accepting the consequences of your actions,
Taking responsibility.
no matter how unpleasant.
The stay is a firm, direct stance bracing for consequences. That sense of readiness and acceptance.
No running away.
And finally, jump out of one's skin.
Being totally startled.
That moment of pure surprise.
The stay is a sudden flinch expressing extreme surprise.
That involuntary reaction to something unexpected.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today.
We did.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how these idioms can be transformed into stays.
Yeah, it's like those verbal shortcuts have found their perfect physical counterpart.
It really highlights the power of non-verbal communication.
Yeah, it makes you think about all the ways we can express ourselves without even saying a word.
And it makes you wonder about all the other idioms out there and how they might be expressed through movement.
It's a whole new way to think about language and the expressive potential of our bodies. Thanks for joining me today.
It was a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring the motion of meaning.
And keep expressing yourself.
See you later.